Paging the cantor. Paging the cantor. Cantor on aisle 3. And I'll invite everyone that's in the lobby to come on in. So you always know if we start late, we've got a good group of people here. So we begin welcoming the Sabbath on page 14 with Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Avarach Aman Meshach Avdach Eretz Onach Yarutz Avdach Kemo Ayal Yishtachaveh Emo Hararach Yerablo Yedinutach Minofetzu Vechotam Adonai Ziv Haolam Nafshi Cholat Ahatach Ana ena refana la beharala no amzimach as titchazek betidrapeh mehaitalach shifat olam Vatigemu Rachamecha Vechosna Avelohavach Ki zekama Yofnitza Lirot Tiferet Uzaf Anaili Machmalivi Hoshana Me'achitalam Tigalena Ufros Avivalai Et Sukat Shelomach Ta'eret Mikevotach Nagila V'nismechavach Ma'eraho Kiva Moed V'chaneni Ki Me'olam.
So you notice we did a different version of Yedid Nefesh this week. Many congregations this week are celebrating Camp Ramah, having Ramah across America. And so we thought we would do the Yedid Nefesh that we usually hear at Camp Ramah to start us off with a feeling of summer and our moment of fall. And I'll also wish Rebecca a safe journey on Sunday as she goes to Camp Ramah for the women's retreat. So if I'm even worse at answering my email this week, it's all my fault. Because I'll be trying to be in 3 places at once. And as you can hear, I don't really have my voice right now, so I may or may not be here in the morning, but I'm going to do my best to get some rest and see how things go. But we're going to turn to page 15 for Lechu Neranena to start the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat.
Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, l'Adonai. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena,
panav b'todah. Nariya, nariya, le'tzoyishenu.
Bizmirot nariyano. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lalonai. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lalonai. Nariya, nariya, le'tzoyishenu. Nekadma panav b'todah. Nariya, nariya, le'tzoyishenu. Bizmirot nariyalo. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lalonai. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lalonai. Arba'im shana akol benor ba'oma am to'el levahem vehem lo yadon erai asher nishbati ve'api im yimaun menuchati.
Page 16, we'll sing together.
Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai margo shemo, baseru miyom leyom yeshuato. Saperu magoyim kevodo, megol ha'amim nifleotav. Ki gadol Adonai, olam me'od, norahu, al kol Elohim, ay, 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 ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, ma'adonai shamayim asa, hod v'hadar lefanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, habul Adonai mishpechot amim, habul Adonai kavod la'oz, habul Adonai k'mod shemo, so mincha u'bol lechatzrotav, ay, 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 shachavu l'Adonai ve'arat kodesh, chilo mipanav kol haaretz, ibnu lagoyim, Adonai malach, aftikon tevel v'atimot, yadinamim b'mesharim, yislechu hashamayim b'tagei haaretz, yiram hayam, omelo, yalo sadai, v'kol asher bo, ay, 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 asher onenu kol hatzeyar, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, lishpot tevel v'tzedek, ve'amim be'emunato, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
We'll read responsively, page 17. Adonai is sovereign, let the world rejoice. God's lightning illumines the earth. Fire consumes God's foes. Mountains melt like wax before Adonai. The earth trembles. Shame covers those who worship idols, those who take pride in revering images which must themselves bow low before God. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Proclaim the holiness of God's name. We'll turn to page 18.
Mizmor shirul Adonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa Hoshia lo yemino uzro akodsho Horia Adonai Yeshuato le'enei hagoyim gilatzit kato Zachar gasto ve'emunato le'ven Israel ra'ol ha'tzeyaretz et Yeshuat Eloheinu hariu l'Adonai kol ha'aretz yitzchu v'radenu v'zameru zameru l'Adonai mechinot v'kol zimra בחצוצרות וקול שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומלואו, תל ויושביו, נהרות ימחאוך, יחר הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קיבה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט אל וצדק, ועמים במישרים, יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 לה
Page 19, we'll continue silently. Adonai Malach.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקדשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקדשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקדשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקדשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
So on page 20, we rise for the 29th Psalm.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בנעילים, הבו לאדוני, כבוד מעוז, הבו לאדוני, כלות שמו ישתחוו לאדוני, בדרם קודש,
You may be seated. We'll read the bottom of page 20. God, whose mighty hand makes nations free, release all captives, hear our humble plea. Accept this plaintive song we offer you to praise and glorify your name. Preserve the righteous ones who seek you, who in love sing out your oneness. Guard and bless with your great goodness your people who revere your name. You, O God, who are alone exalted, turn to us, hearken to our prayer. Our thoughts revealed, laid bare before you, as your dominion ever we proclaim. We turn to page 21 for Lachadodi. We'll do the first two stanzas and then turn for the last two. For the final stanza, we stand and face the entrance as if welcoming Shabbat as our bride.
Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Shabbat mesacho berimo rechat ishmi'anu el hamecha Adonai echad Shemot tiferet ve'ritila Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki hi mekor ha'aracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshava tehila Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Yaminu smoti proti ve'et Adonai tariti ayarish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bara gam b'simcha u'b'tohala toch emunei am segula boi chala Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bara gam b'simcha u'b'tohala toch emunei am segula boi chala Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela. Lechadodi likrat kalai yadadai 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 Bnei Shabbat nekavela.
You may be seated. Now, when we have mourners in the community, they sit out for the first part of the Kabbalat Shabbat service because it's new. It's just from the 1500s. And so they come in after Lecha Dodi, that late edition, and join us for the song for Shabbat, and join us for the following psalm, and then going into the Mariv service. And I've been thinking about that because what do we tell them? Hamakom Yonachem Etzem, that God should comfort you, betoch sharav le'etzion v'Yerushalayim, among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. You know, people translate that in slightly different ways, and what I normally tell people is, to know that in that moment when you are in mourning, there are others in mourning. That there is no place in this world that is not without loss, no family that has not been touched in one moment or another. And to know that in the moment where you are in that time of mourning, there are other people also pausing, also wondering how the world can keep spinning when their beloved has been lost. And I saw something from one of my teachers, Rabbi Shai held a couple weeks ago, and he said, the problem of this moment is that the entire Jewish community is in mourning. We're all sitting Shiva, but the problem is we still have to go to work. When you said Shiva, you normally separate and other people take care of you. The problem is if the entire Jewish community is sitting Shiva at the same time, who are the other Jews to take care of them? And I want to thank our Mormon friends tonight who are here this evening sharing their love and who are here not for religious tourism, but to support the Jewish community. So thank you for being here tonight. So the song for Shabbat, the 92nd Psalm, page 23.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי הסור ועלי נבר, עלי היגיון בחינם. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. צדיק אתה יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים מרננים יהיו להגיד, ישר אדוני תורי בדלו עוולתמו.
So the 93rd Psalm, page 24, the last of the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat.
Adonai malach geulavesh, mikolot mayim rabim maririm mishpereyam, adir b'marom Adonai, elotecha nemnu me'od, l'beincha nava kodesh Adonai, le'orech yamim.
Mourners Kaddish, those who are observing a yard site or in the time of mourning, please join with me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabam. B'alma divrach rotzei v'yamlech malchutei. L'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'b'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabam v'orach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei d'kudsha b'richum. La'ela min chol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Tamiran v'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'yimromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. You may be seated. So, in the morning, we are reading Parshat Vayera. It's a heavy parsha. It has the readings from the both days of Rosh Hashanah, both the challenge of Sarah sending Ishmael and Hagar away, and the test that we still haven't quite figured out if Abraham passed, of bringing Yitzhak to the altar. But the very beginning of the parsha is the one that the place that I often get caught on, and it's so meaty that I never, it's hard to keep going, because especially, on Rosh Hashanah, we're going to talk about the other pieces. Also has Sodom and Gomorrah, and, Avram bargaining down, saying if there were 50 or 40 or 30 or 20, or even if there were 10, God. And it's hard for me, I'm going to go back, I promise, to the beginning, but it's hard for me, or was hard for me, to imagine that there could be a place that was so filled with evil that you couldn't even find 10 righteous individuals. And then, I heard this week from the head of Hamas being interviewed, I think on Al Jazeera, saying, why do they want a ceasefire? So they can plan the next October 7th. So they can plan the next assault on civilians. Not against Israeli soldiers, not a military campaign, but a desire to cause civilian damage and civilian loss so that Israelis will just decide they'll have to go somewhere else. They'll go back to Europe where their roots are, because they're all these settler colonialists. This is not what I was planning on talking about. But the problem is Jews are not settler colonialists. Jews are indigenous. Jews have been in Israel since the beginning, for a very, 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 very long time. Okay, the end of that rant. But if any college student complains that they're hearing that other people are saying that Jews are settler colonialists, there's lots of response to that, and I'm happy to talk to them. So Abraham is sitting outside of his tent after last week circumcising himself, and we have this interesting moment because we have not one but two mitzvot that happen, two commandments that happen very close together. The first is that God does bikor cholim. God visits the sick and shares presence with Abraham. It says in our tradition that visiting the sick takes away 1/60th of their illness. Now, that does not mean if you send 60 people in, they're immediately better, but that you're making a difference for them. And then the second piece is that Avram is sitting in the presence of God, and he sees in the distance that there are three individuals. He has no idea that they're angels at that moment. He just sees three people. And he jumps up out of his sick bed and says, I'm going to go take care of these people. Can you imagine leaving the presence of God to take care of others? But what does Abraham know? Abraham knows the beginning of the Torah. In the beginning of the Torah, it teaches us that within all of us is the image of God, that we are all created in the image of God. And that doesn't say Jew or Muslim or Christian or Hindu or Buddhist. It just says human, Adam. Harishon, Adam the first. And Abraham leaves the presence of God in order to welcome others into his home. And then he says, I'm going to give you a little bit of bread, but he does more than just giving bread. He gives cheese and meats and food, and the rabbis then have a whole other conversation. Did God really know the Torah? Was he giving the meat and the cheese at the same time, or did he give the cheese first and make sure they had time to wait before having the meat? Conversation for another time. But the eagerness to be hospitable, the eagerness to be welcoming, even when he was potentially still in pain. The old joke, somebody is, an individual is asking his Jewish friend, I'm joining the Jewish people, I'm going to get circumcised, how was it? And he said, it was awful, I didn't walk for a year. Because you get circumcised, it's 8 days. Sorry, you need the context of the joke. So I don't know how it was for Abraham. But as a Jew, as a human being, to look out, and even when we are suffering, find ways to be welcoming, that to me is what it means to follow the commandments, to follow the covenant with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And my prayer for all of us is that no matter our pain, we can continue to find in our hearts, to see the divine in each and every one of us, across cultures, and to find ways to be welcoming even when our instinct is against it. Shabbat Shalom. So we continue with the evening service. Page 28. We rise. You may be seated, and the blessings before Kriyat Shema. Page 29, we speak of God's love for us as we prepare to speak of our love for God.
Ki hem chayenu me'orech yameinu u'bahem negeh yomam alayla me'avatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha u'bechol nafshecha u'bechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha v'nimatam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shachmecha u'tchumecha u'kshatav le'ota yadecha mehayu letotapot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 32. Emet v'na chazakayinu.
ומלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם. משה בני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר הקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך רבניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי בא אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גיא ישראל.
At the top of 33, we'll read together in English. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem. So in 34, we rise together for Vishamru and from Exodus, and then the Hatzi Kaddish. And then we take time for our personal prayer from page 35 to 40.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורת הברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורת הברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורת הברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורת הברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורת הברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמך עמים רק ירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייך וביומך ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב בין
And you finished your personal prayer. We continue, page 47.
ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישמור ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שמד מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא עליון קונה שמיים וארץ מגן אבות בנערו מחיים מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לנו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעמוד וירא בפחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעול הברכות אל ההודות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שני ומגיח בקדושה לעמנו שני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית.
We'll read together at the top of 48. Our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest. Instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness, and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so we might serve you faithfully, lovingly, and willingly, Adonai our God. Grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people of Israel who hallow your name will always find rest on this day. Praised are you, Adonai, who hallow Shabbat.
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה
Amen.
ואמרתי ברכרתי וימליך מלכותי בחיי כל חיינו מישראל בגל בזמן קריב אמרו אמן יש מרבה מבורך ועלם עולם מעמיה
In Bara.
יפרח וישמע גברתי נעשה וינלר וינלבין עלה שמן גונשם
Rekum.
לעילה מנקום מגעתם שירתה תושנתה ונגמתה דמירה מעלמה ואמרו אמן תתחבט צורבת הונדלה ישראל כל אבות וישמעיה ואמרו אמן יש רבה משמעיה וחיים עלינו מעכל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומם יעשה שלום על כל ישראל מאמרו
Amen. The Kiddush for Shabbat is on page 49.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
page 51 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'sameach